Hi, my name is Gadd Danno, and I am an internet survival guru. Today I'd like to talk about survival navigation and what devices you should rely on when the S hits the F. Now I have on my table 3 different navigation methods: cell phone, GPS, or map and compass. Now a lot of people think I'll just use my cell phone because it has GPS and cellular data. But let me tell you something. In a crisis, those cell towers could go down and a lot of that GPS navigation software fails without access to the cell phone towers. So I don't recommend it at all, not to mention the fact that this is not that rugged. It's got a glass screen that can easily break. It's also subject to NSA snooping, so when you carry one of these around, basically the government can track you everywhere you go. They can hear what you're saying. They can see what you're doing if you got the camera out. And they can remotely activate the phone even if you think you have it turned off. So when there's a real crisis situation, this is not a device you want to be carrying around. You know, dogs and pets have implantable microchips, and they can be tracked. Are you a dog? Are you an animal? You know, sexual offenders, they're forced by the courts to wear ankle monitors around their ankle all the time so they can be tracked. Are you a felon? Are you a sex offender? Because if you're carrying around one of these, the government's snooping on you just the same as they can track those animals and those felons. So if you're a self-respecting American, you won't be carrying one of these around everywhere you go. So on the tech side, what I recommend is a GPS unit. Like this one from Garmin. This is the Gpsmap 62SC. It has a plastic screen which is actually more rugged. If it were to fall on something, it's far less likely to break, and it won't shatter like glass and render your device useless. It's got ruggedized casing. Takes AA batteries that you can scrounge for or bring with you, and you know, in a grid down scenario, a AA battery is going to be a lot better than an internal lithium battery that you may or may not be able to charge. But you might be able to buy or forage for AA batteries, or you might have a lot of AA batteries with you. This is water resistant. It's got buttons, not touchscreen. Touchscreens can fail, especially if you drop it on a sharp object. That could destroy your touch interface. You drop this, everything's probably going to still be working fine. It's got real touch buttons. Way better. They have purpose-designed GPS antennas designed for only one thing: GPS reception. So, some of these have GPS units in them, but their antennas are compromised to fit inside the small housing. Where here they can purpose design an antenna to work as best as possible with GPS radio signals. Further, these devices only receive radio signals. They don't transmit data, so the government cannot see where you are with this unless they have a means just to detect electronic devices in general. This does not transmit. It only receives. So when the New World Order is trying to hunt you down, say you got the red mark on your mailbox and the government's trying to hunt you down, you can be navigating with this and they won't be able to find you. But we can't completely rely on technology, modern technology that is. Sometimes we got to use the old school technology. And that's why everyone should have a map and compass. Now I've got a better compass than this, but it's buried deep in my closet with my bug out bag and I rarely get that out. So I'm just using a little compass, carabiner compass I had that, you can put on a keychain or what have you. But, if you don't have any navigation equipment, start with this and then get this when funds allow. But I always start with the least complicated, the least expensive, the most dependable. So get yourself a compass. Now, what I've done, a compass is useful, just for telling direction, but to make it really useful, you need maps. So what I've done is I've got a case in my car to hold that stuff. This is a military folio case. I think it's Czechoslovakian military surplus that I got on sportsmansguide.com. And it holds what I need. Got a mechanical pencil, which I far prefer. But in a pinch, a traditional pencil. Just a solar calculator. It's also got a lithium battery backup, so it'll work at night. And that could be very useful if you're calculating, doing some basic geometry on maps and calculating routes and using a ruler or something to estimate distances, and you might need to do some distance calculations. So I do recommend having a little calculator in the kit. Flashlight, self-explanatory. And, your equivalent to the entire United States map on your GPS device would be a road atlas. This has maps of cities and all 50 states. So that's your basic backup. But those maps are not as detailed. So not only do I recommend having that, but I recommend getting maps for your specific planned bug out route and all the states or Canadian provinces that are surrounding your area. These are the states that are immediately surrounding my area. Got these at Barnes & Noble. And I afterwards found out, if you want to save some money, that you can just get free state maps. Often will be sent to you by the State Tourism Board. So if you go on the internets and just sign up, you can get free official state maps that are, basically as good as these for less money. Now, some of these are a little better. They're just blown up larger. Maybe it's just easier to read. But that isn't a huge issue. So anyway, I recommend getting detailed maps. These are more detailed than what's in that atlas. Detailed maps for the surrounding states, all the states and provinces that surround where you live. Then I just recommend a notebook for writing notes. Ruler for distances. You know, a protractor for making route angles if you need to draw on a map. Ruler, protractor. You can make lines that are not based on the roads if you're going off road, and you can do a little geometry and write routes on your map. And then just some scratch paper for doing math calculations or what have you. You know, some of these tools to put together a kit like this, it's nothing. This bag costs about $10 or $12. Pencils you probably have laying around. Rulers you probably have. You can raid your kids' old grade school kit for protractors and compass. And these are the tools you need when you may need when you're working with maps. So you probably have all this stuff. There's nothing crazy about it. It's just to get it all together and in a kit that you can access in your car. So this is one of the cheaper things you can put together, especially if you get free state maps like I did not. And you could probably put together a system like this with a flashlight for about, $15 out of pocket if you have this stuff. And if you don't have this stuff, go to Walmart and maybe you'll be out of pocket for $20 to $30. It's not expensive, and it's a lot of peace of mind. But if you got a compass and a map, that's great, and you're probably doing better than a lot of people. I just got a little multi-tool in here as well. But having all these tools and a flashlight all organized in one place that always stays in your car, with states that go beyond, just your normal state, this is actually valuable data to have. This is a backup. Your GPS is great, but if that fails, if the GPS satellites go down, this is what you're going to be using. And this you can rely on. You can't rely on any of this. You can rely on a compass and maps. Now, I actually don't know how to use a compass, but it's no problem because I've got this book that tells me how to use it. And this I've had this for a couple years, but I haven't fired it up. But it's a well-reviewed unit, and I've got a manual for it on my Kindle e-reader. So if I need to use it, I've got lots of survival documents on here. This is a lot lighter than carrying heavy books and printouts on your computer. So put them on your Kindle e-reader. Then if you ever need to use it, you got it there. Or here I got my book on how to use the compass. So I'm golden. You don't have to be an expert on everything to be prepared. And that's an important lesson for us. So thanks for watching this video, and go ahead and leave your comments and suggestions in the comments field. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for your time.